Hey guys, it's Kris, and it's been a long time since I've last put up a Starcraft 2 video, or any video actually. I have been neglecting my YouTube channel, but I have been spending a lot of my time in Orlando, mostly at Disney World actually, and I've had a lot of fun there. But during my downtime I have been playing a lot of Starcraft 2. However, this game is kind of something special to me. This game is probably the first game where I had an idea set in my mind and I actually saw it through to the end. Excuse me. I carried it out, or I planned it, I carried it out, and I ended the game. I ended the game with it. I have been playing a lot of StarCraft 2 lately, and this strategy has really done well for me. I have probably played about 20 games so far, and I've maybe lost only about 4 of them. And I did lose to very good players. Well, very good, and to my standard. They were able to either counter or hold off my attacks until I couldn't do anything else. But I had planned on playing Zerg. I had planned on playing Zerg for 10, Protoss for 10, Terran for 10, and then moving on to random. But I cannot play Zerg to save my life. I cannot macro and or micro nearly well enough to play Zerg effectively. It probably just started from me playing Terran, where I kind of have this one build idea kind of set. But I don't know. I can't get the larval system down. The constant production of my drones actually, because I do find myself, I end up running out of drones because I build so many structures. I just kind of don't know what it is with me and Zerg. I just can't play it. And Terran, I just don't find really any fun in it, because so many people call it overpowered, or at least some people that I've played against as Terran. Some people call it overpowered, some people call it a beginner's team, or army, race, yeah. But I just don't find any fun in the builds, in the units, and really anything about Terran anymore. I guess it's just kind of become basic to me. But as CNNers would say, I digress. Anyway, I start off with kind of my current basic build, where a pylon about 9 or 10, and then a gateway after my next 3 probes have finished producing. I do chrono boost them out, and then I put up a gateway, and then I produce 1 or 2, sometimes 3 zealots from it. Meanwhile, those are producing. Normally I would throw down a cybernetics core. Excuse me. But I don't do it at this point yet. Instead I throw down another pylon. I throw down another pylon about 16 to 18. This particular match I do it. I do throw down a pylon very late. But that's okay. Anyway, I do scout my opponent. I see he's going 1 Rax, which kind of shows to me no big signs of early aggression. He's going 1 Rax. He has both gases, so he's going a gas-intensive build, so he wants to get some higher tech out really quickly. And because of that, he's investing a lot of his minerals into a few Marines to defend his front, and then this factory that goes down. He also doesn't throw down a reactor or a tech lab. I do end up losing that probe, sadly. He doesn't throw down a reactor or a tech lab because he's trying to save up a majority of his gas for this factory, and he's either going Hellions or siege tanks. And I did see this factory just before my probe died, so I know he's either going Hellions or siege tanks, or very unlikely he's going for very early Thors, but I don't really run into that too often. I have before, but normally it's not a problem because I'll just make Colossi and Stalkers. But I do run the Zealot past. Kind of a fail battle right here. But I do see them coming. So funny. So I'm able to train out another few Zealots. Meanwhile, he would have been better off to attack me just right on in. But I am able to produce another 2 Zealots, which are easily able to hold off these 4 Marines. I do end up losing this Zealot, but he does his duty. I said duty. Okay, I need to be a little more mature while doing this, I'm sorry. But he is able to basically wipe out the last 3 Marines without too much of a problem. And then I am building a very small force right outside of his main. And right outside, kind of guarding his second expansion, second most likely expansion. And then he cancels the tech. He cancels the tech lab up here, or he canceled something. Maybe it was a reactor. I'm sorry, because he's going siege tanks. Of course, I don't know this, but spoiling it for you, he's going siege tanks, and he's going siege tanks at the cost of his defense army. Meanwhile, I have 3 Zealots, which if I decided to move in, I could have ended this game right now. But of course I didn't know that. I'm expecting he'll have Marauders, he'll have a bunch more Marines, he'll have a significant force to deal with. So my plan was a contain. I wanted to contain him. I wanted to keep him trapped on the edge, always trying to figure out how to push out without losing a majority of his army. I wanted to keep him basically suppressed. I wanted to contain him. So I'm moving in. I have 3 Zealots, and I move in 2 Stalkers, and I bring in a probe. And most of you can guess what that probe is for, and if you can't, I'm throwing down a proxy pylon. I want to keep him trapped outside of his base. This was my strategy going into it. I do start researching, what is it? What am I researching? Warp Gate, okay. I'm researching Warp Gate. I am a little late. I should have done it right after, maybe right after my second gateway. Sorry for that blowing into the mic. My economy is doing quite well actually. I'm able to produce comfortably the units I'm trying to get, my unit composition, which are mostly Stalkers and Zealots. Meanwhile, his first siege tank has finished. It doesn't have siege tech yet, but until I move in, I don't know about the siege tanks until I start getting shelled. So it's a little bit of a shock to me, but not too worrisome. I do throw down a sentry, except kind of poor placement on my part. My army is over here, when my sentry would have done so much more good right here to kind of block off this with a force field, but that actually would have revealed... Whoa, that probe is getting dangerously close to the range of the siege tank. But if I moved my sentry in, it would have revealed that he has siege tanks, because obviously it would have been shelled. And here, I start to move in. I want to see what he has. That first attack, I know he has siege tanks. I'm not sure how many, but I know he has them. I do throw down a force field, because I thought it would actually do something against the siege tank, but it really didn't. So I figure, instead of pulling out, instead of wasting resources I've already put into it, I need to take out the siege tank. I need to lead his frontal line. And it would have been so much more intelligent on my part if I had removed this sentry from that place and it just migrated it back. But instead I didn't, and I ended up losing it along with a lot of energy. And then I'm also very happy on the placement of my pylon, because I'm out of range of his siege tank, and he has no idea where I am, how I'm getting units in, if I'm just walking him. But in fact I do have this pylon. and I have 2 warp gates, and then 2 gateways that I'm pretty sure I transform into warp gates here soon. And then I do start going for my excuse me. I do end up going for Stargate, because I'm hoping that if I bring in a Void Ray or 2, that I will be able to basically take out his siege tanks without too much fuss. Now, my opponent, soukenz relied a lot on his siege tanks. As you can see, he has 4 Marines. That's it. He starts producing another Reaper, but he only has 4 Marines. He's relying very heavily on this siege tank. And when I'm able to take it out with my Stalkers, that's pretty much it. I have enough Stalkers here basically to one-hit his Marines. I have 2 Stalkers left. Now, that may not seem like a whole lot, but when he has nothing left, I'm able to get in and do some serious damage. And then, of course, I warp in. I have this proxy pylon right here, so I can warp in 4 more very quickly. But that last siege tank goes down. And then, why he trains a Reaper, I'm not really sure. Maybe he was hoping to kind of skirt around my pylon placement and do some damage to my mineral line, even though I'm pretty well defended in here. I mean, I can just warp in some more units. Maybe he was hoping to do some damage to my mineral line, my economy, because he thought I had basically put everything I have up here. But in fact I didn't, and his Reaper fails quite miserably. Now he is producing infantry levels 1, but I kind of don't understand why he went for this when he was going on such a siege tank heavy army. I mean, at one point I think he may have like 6 Marines at max at any given time. So why he goes for this infantry level, this weapons level 1, I don't really understand. But I do warp in some zealots just to make this quicker. And then that siege tank, kind of bad micro on his part, basically just walks into this wall of stalkers, and he leaves the game. Now this is, honestly, this is something I find, oh wow, he had a Ghost Academy. Yikes. Anyway, this is something I find quite common of me playing in the bronze level. Voice crack there. A lot of bronze level players that generally I win against, they just kind of leave the game. I don't know if they're raging about the fact that I was able to proxy them, even though I'm not really cheesing them, because I'm not running in with cannons, I'm not running in with early anything, honestly. I'm not doing some quick maneuver that'll win me the game without any strategy. But it's something I find kind of insulting to a point where they just kind of leave the game. They don't say anything. It's almost unsportsmanlike. But who am I to judge? It's Bronze League. I don't know. They haven't gotten the dynamics of this part of the game yet, the sportsmanship behind it, or if they just are raging because I quote-unquote cheese them. Even though I really don't see this as a cheese maneuver. I could be very wrong, but if it is, then I will probably stop doing it, because I don't like cheesing that much. But I was going for the Stargate. As I said before, I wanted to try and get out a Void Ray. Bleh, second time I've messed that up. I was trying to get a Void Ray out to basically take out any siege tanks he may have had. But as you can see, I didn't really need to. The game ends in my favor, and expect more from me very soon. So comment, like, subscribe. I'll see you later.